Hey everybody, AC here, and welcome back to another episode of Danny Phantom Vlogs Revisit. This time, we are talking about my top 12 favorite fights in Danny Phantom. Danny Phantom has a lot of really good fights. But I have 12 that are my absolute favorites. That I will go back and rewatch these episodes or these movies in some cases just to see these awesome fights again. So let's not waste any more time. Let's just jump right into it. Number 12, Danny versus Vlad the first time in the episode Bitter Works. I personally think that is the best fight between Danny and Vlad in the series. Simply because Danny is still so inexperienced. Vlad is beating the crap out of him. He's getting beaten. He's getting defeated, and he has to come up with a new way to defeat Vlad. He basically ends up outsmarting Vlad and uses Vlad's own weakness against him, and it's because that's the only way he can actually win. He's just not strong enough yet. And it's a really cool fight scene after introducing one of Danny's most iconic villains. So yeah, I like it. Number 11, Danny versus Skulker the first time. Skulker is not a huge threat later on in the series. Let's see. Life lessons. He's kind of the main threat in life lessons, and size matters as well. But he's not a significant threat in either of those. He's more kind of like played up for laughs in those. But this one, he's actually treated like a legitimate threat in this one. And you really get the idea that this is the Ghost Zone's greatest hunter. You really get a sense for that in this first episode. That said, there are still some laughs played at Skulker's expense in his first introduction. But I like the overall fight a lot more in this episode compared to future Skulker episodes. So yeah. So number 10 is Danny versus Ghost Jack in the episode Masters of Time. When we get to see Danny create an alternate future where Vlad never became Plasmius, but instead Jack did. And we get to see him and Danny fight, and it's really cool. It's really cool. It's really cool. It's really interesting. There's lots of emotion. And drama going on in there. So yeah, it's a really cool fight. I really like it. Let's see. Number 9 is Danny versus Technus number 3. So basically, this is the episode's it's not Splitting Images, because that's the episode with Poindexter. What was this episode called? Identity Crisis. That's what it was. Identity Crisis. The episode Identity Crisis. Specifically, this is when Technus takes control of Fenton Works. Like the entire house and all of its technologies. Technus just takes control of it. And this is honestly, I feel like this is like Technus at his best. Like, honestly, I personally think this is the best Technus episode. The second best Technus episode is his final episode. But I think this is probably the best Technus episode. Just simply because of the fight at the end. Like, it's very personal now because, that's Danny's home, and Technus just took control of his entire home. Um, so that's so that's a cool fight. And then number 8, Danny versus Ember. The first time. And honestly, it's just really cool to see Danny fighting a musical opponent. Someone who uses music to fight, and that's just really cool. I just like the aesthetic of that. Um, I've always been really big into musicals. I really like musicals. And it's just really cool to see a ghost that weaponizes music like that. Um, and so to see Danny like struggle against her like that was really cool. I liked that fight. Number 7, Danny versus Youngblood the first time. So in the episode Pirate Radio, after Ember leaves, Danny and Youngblood have a sword fight on the pirate ship. And that fight in particular is what I'm talking about because I love pirates. Okay, I listen to pirate shanties all the time. I don't know why. I love pirate songs. I love pirate and sailor songs. And I love the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. Um, yes, trilogy. It sucks that there were only 3. It sucks that they didn't continue. There's only 3 of them, unfortunately. But anyway, yeah. So I like that fight. I like how it's just a standard sword fight. That's just really cool. That's just really cool. And like we never see a sword fight again throughout the rest of the series. It's just that. That's the only sword fight in the series. But yeah, it's cool. I like it. So number 6, Danny versus Ghost Tucker. So this is from Desiree's first introduction, What You Want. And it's when Tucker gets ghost powers and they start taking over him, and Danny's trying to fight him, trying to snap him out of it, and you can feel the emotion in this fight. Like he is desperate to save his friend before his friend becomes a monster permanently. So yeah, that's like you're really rooting for him in this one. Oh, but yeah, it's really good. I really like that one. Number 5, Danny and the Gang versus Nocturne. Um, I like the fact that this is the first and only time when we get to see Jazz as part of the group and see Danny, Tucker, Sam, and Jazz all working together against this one threat. That's really cool. I like how it's Danny and Sam who go into Nocturne's dream while Tucker and Jazz deal with his minions. Um, so yeah, like divide and conquer, and it's so cool to see them all working together as a team. Um, but yeah, so number 4, Undergrowth from Urban Jungle. What can I say? It's Mark Hamill playing a villain. Of course, it's going to be entertaining as all hell. Um, so I love Undergrowth, and I love the big fight against Undergrowth, and I love how like he like brainwashes Sam into being kind of like this Poison Ivy type character. Um, and it's so cool. It's so cool, and I love how Danny, after learning about his ice powers, he basically just freezes every aspect of Undergrowth. So Undergrowth's just shrinking more and more, and it's just and it's just becoming becoming a game of like avoiding his attacks while also while also freezing every single root, so he can never regrow. Um, okay, sorry, I heard something weird. But yeah, so I like that one. Number three, Danny versus the Ghost King. This is a really cool. This is a really cool fight, and it's the first time we see Danny actually duplicate himself, and we get to see him in the Fenton suit. The Fenton suit. Um, we get to see him in the Fenton suit, and he's like on borrowed time in this suit because it drains your life force as you use it more. Um, and so yeah, I really like that one. I really like that one. That one's really cool. Um, and I think it's so awesome that if we are to believe my theory about Danny Phantom, I love the idea that uh, Danny ends up defeating the devil. If we choose to believe my theory that the ghosts in the ghost zone aren't ghosts, they're demons, then Pariah Dark being the king of ghosts would technically be the devil, which means Danny defeated the devil. Uh, so yeah, that's just badass. Um, number two, number two, Freak Show, Danny versus Freak Show, in specifically in Reality Trip. I love that movie. I love that TV movie. It is awesome, and I love Freak Show, and I love that whole fight between the two of them. Um, Throughout the entire TV movie, they kept building up that these two were going to have a rematch. These two were going to duke it out. They were going to fight. They were going to fight. Um, and the whole TV movie, they were just building up to that, and it did not disappoint in the slightest. It was a really cool fight, and it was cool to see. And it was cool to see how Freak Show became so incredibly powerful that the only way for Danny to beat him is basically just to outsmart him. Um, Basically just use psychology. Just use psychology on him. Um, and so like it's really cool to see Danny using his book smarts for a change on top of his street smarts. So yeah, it's really cool. And then number one, Danny versus Dark Danny in the Ultimate Enemy. I even need to explain why? Everyone knew everyone knew this was going to be number one. It's the best fight in the whole. It's the best fight in the whole series. It's so cool. It's got action. It's got drama. It's got action. It's got drama. It's got suspense. It's got a little bit. It's got a little bit of horror in there too, because like the idea that Dark Danny is willing to set up all of these events just so he can continue to exist. And Danny is powerless to stop him. He defeats him, but he's powerless to stop him. In the end, Dark Danny won. Dark Danny technically won. And it's only thanks to Clockwork's intervention that Danny's friends and family survived. So, yeah. yeah, that's my favorite fight scene in the series. So yeah, in any case, that's all I got for this video. So thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good jazz, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.